We have a gavel.
We have a gavel. Good evening. I would like to call this regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of Argyle ISD to order. The date is July 13th, 2026, and the time is 5 o'clock. I confirm that a quorum is present, the meeting has been duly called, and that notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act and Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This meeting is now officially called to order. Under the authority of the Texas Government Code 551, Subchapter D, the board will now go into closed session at 5 o'clock to discuss 551074, personnel matters and public officers, 551071, consultation with attorney, and 551072, deliberation regarding real property.
Okay. You
Got
it.
all that?
There we go.
Okay. The time is now 6:25, and we have returned from executive session. At this time, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. At this time, we will have our opening prayer. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this summer break. We hope that this time of rest and reprieve energizes our staff and our students as they come back in the next couple of weeks for their activities. We ask that you bless everyone with safety and fun this summer. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And we will not be swearing in Officer Miller tonight. We could not coordinate summer schedules, so that will happen at the August meeting.
Yes. I can't wait to meet him. So
Yes.
it'll be
And I believe we have no one signed up for public comment, so we will not be reading that nice long paragraph. And we have not come to the conclusion of our discussion on the board vacancy. We will return to executive session at the end of this meeting and come back with action hopefully at the end of tonight. Moving on to consent items.
good. No donations.
No donations. Does anyone have any comments? Any questions concerning the consent items? I will entertain a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
So moved.
Dr. McDade with the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Matt Slayton with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Sorry.
Any opposed? Okay, we're to reports. Construction report, Jeff.
That was quick.
I know, we're moving along.
2 minutes in. There we go. Okay. Good evening. So we're in the home stretch at Gibson Middle School, trying to get everything done. So a lot of these slides you'll have seen again, but there's still a lot of activity going on inside the building. So our main entrance view here, I think we've got the letters on, which probably were not in the last board report, I believe. So we've got the name up there. Again, the overall shot, landscape looks real good, so we didn't have any issues with that as far as getting COs with the town, which is generally a problem on most projects. Is it's not done and they want it to be done for CO, so we don't have that issue. A little closer shot. This is probably a new photo for you. The courtyard has been complete, so we've got the turf installed. All of our plants are in. Just punching that out now. This is probably a new photo too. We've got cafeteria and stage, all the finishes going in around that proscenium, all the wood and the acoustical slope wood there at the top. Picture of the kitchen. Most of the equipment is set. It really just needs a final clean at this point, and then it'll be ready. I think we've got some small wares fixing to hit the site, so they're getting excited about that. This is some built-ins in the library. So they've got some built-in seating on two sides of the library, which will have, it's like a restaurant, like a banquet style seating, and then a couple of these, like the larger one on the left, there'll be a table we can pull up to that. So there'll be some built-in seating and then some chair seating around a table. Picture of the classroom hallways, more or less finished other than the final clean. Picture of one of our classrooms set up with the furniture that we've been working on the last few weeks. All the flat panels are going in. It's not on the wall, but you can see it there in the box next to the door. I think they'll wrap up all the flat panel installs this week. Picture of one of the science lab rooms. So we've got all our science casework in, all the accessories that go with that. Our student desk, this picture does not have the lab tables in. They're actually out in the hallway as they cleaned the room, but you can see the stools up against the cabinetry there. So they'll be like peninsulas. The tables will come out from the cabinets like a peninsula. And I believe there's gonna be 7 stations of 4 around there. Here's some of the graphics that we've got installed. We've got 2 hallways at the end of the classroom, and they each have some of the core values. There are different ones in each hallway. Here's some more graphics. This is down in the athletic wing outside the gym. So some of the graphics we've got on the wall there. Picture of our locker room. I think this is a PE locker room here. Weight room with the flooring installed. Just waiting on confirmation for delivery of our equipment, which should be happening in the next 2 weeks. Here's a picture of the practice gym. So the wood subfloor is going down. It's actually down in both gyms. And they should be starting on the maple floor this week to finish. This picture shows just a typical office with furniture installed. Counselor reception area, again with furniture installed. And then look ahead is just finishing that gym floor and working through punch list. I believe we're 1 inspection from a true CO and where we can occupy the building. We have a temporary at this point, which let us bring in all the furniture. Do you have any questions? I'm trying to think what else to tell you. It's all going real well. A lot of punch list items, a lot of little things, but it's really wrapping up well.
Hey, Joe, on that, I think it was like the second picture of this, you showed the street. I thought we talked about like a turn lane with the lights and things of that nature.
Yes. So,
But
I work my way back there.
Because they put like stripes and stuff on it, but no turn lane. So
Correct. So what you see today is just a little temporary flags
Yeah.
that they glue on. So they make them remove the old striping.
Okay.
There's a lot of slides. this
I should
month.
have probably talked to you.
That's okay. We're there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so you just see the temporary flags that they put out. So they make them remove the old striping, but the problem is if you go out there and sandblast or any means you use whatsoever, you disturb the asphalt, and then TxDOT says, well, you've disturbed the asphalt, now you have to replace it. So they just go ahead and figure milling it up. So they milled the existing lanes 2 inches,
Okay.
re-topped it, then those temporary markings go on while we wait to schedule the striping contractor, who was actually going to start today.
Okay.
But the rain delayed that, so as long as we don't get rain, we should be starting tomorrow, and it's probably a day and a half, maybe 2 days.
Okay. And what about
So
the
they
lights?
will stripe a turn lane.
Okay. And then the lights will be put in.
The light, same thing, was scheduled to start today.
Okay.
The rain has pushed it, and it
Very good.
should start tomorrow. It's probably a 2-day install for all that. It kind of depends on the traffic, because as they string cables, they kind of have to shut down traffic for a few minutes, stringing cables across. But the expectation is that we have it hopefully energized by the end of the week, and then they'll set it to flashing,
Right.
which they do, I think, for 2 weeks, which is just heads up, for everybody that drives it every day before they just go to cycling it through its normal.
Cool. All right, thanks.
So yes, that should be happening. Was hoping it would have started today so that I could say it was started, but tomorrow. I do have a few slides.
And that line is gonna be right between us, or like where we meet up with Cactus Canyon.
Correct, that's the
That-
drive it
that
will be
street,
on.
that drive right there. Okay.
Yes. I got a couple slides for Ball Intermediate. There we go. Ball Intermediate. Okay, so not a whole lot has happened in the last 2 months since we kind of paused construction while we regrouped on the intermediate concept. They've done a little bit of backfilling of grade beams since then. In this picture, they're doing a little bit of excavation for the bus turnaround, which is in the back of the school behind the kitchen, which is also where the grease trap goes and the solids interceptor. So we've got some approvals and ways of getting those things inspected with the town, even though it's kind of on pause with them. They're currently reviewing the plans for the intermediate design, which really doesn't have major implications as far as permit costs, but we ought to give them the opportunity to review those in case they had any comments. And we should be near the end of that process. So what we should expect to see, I'd say within the next month, we should see them back working on foundations, which is our concrete slabs. We should see the walls of the storm shelter going back up. They got about 4 feet before we stop, so that should continue. Steel erection should start soon after foundations, and we'll get this thing going again. So we're working through pricing still. We've got some early trades that need to get going so we can get the clock moving again, identified. Those have been reviewed. So we're going to get it started that way, and then eventually we'll bring to you the entire cost of that as a change order to the project for approval. But we're going to use existing contingency money in the project to start 3 or 4 trades just so we can get that clock started rather than waiting. And that will lessen the impact of time on this so we can still meet our end date. Any questions on ball? No? Okay. Yeah, that mostly just says we're waiting.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
He also has a, yeah.
So you put that there, it's gonna stop.
Which one are you wanting? Because the other one's in Woodbrook.
Which turns out. Oh, yeah,
The bond one is in there.
right here. Yeah, you can move it over, I'm good. I'd rather go here.
That one.
Let's work on that, or do you have to scroll it? Okay. So we'll give you an update on our Bond 2025 projects. It's going to be a mix, I think, of Mr. Ledford and Ms. Fidel and myself. Go ahead. I can't remember the order of the projects. I think Tommy may be up first. Oh, some
Yep.
capital improvements.
It's rolling.
Okay, all right. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm here to report on the capital improvements projects, project with Pfluger Architects and Integrity Construction. Right now for the middle school, they have gone through and pulled cabling, and we're replacing ceiling grid and tiles. So the ceiling grid is back in. We're putting in ceiling tiles back in. In certain areas, we've got all the new tiles installed. And in the corridors, you'll see that the tile is just on borders so they can go through and complete. In the auditorium section, they have removed the flooring, so we're going to replace all the masonite flooring for the auditorium. So they're going through and working on that. And Infinity contractors are coming through to work on the rigging and the lighting. In the athletic areas, they have gone through and removed all the lockers, and the new lockers should be coming in the next week. The locker bases are going to be installed for the new lockers to go in, and then we are going to seal all the flooring, so they're going to get cleaned up and looking really nice. They've gone through and painted. I want to say we have pictures. They've gone through and that's Tommy's. Sorry. They've gone through and painted. You maybe go to the next slide. Yeah. Okay, here we go. There they are installing ceiling tile, and that's one of the classrooms. And you go to the next tile. Here we go. This is the locker room. So now they look all nice and clean, and we're getting some graphics on certain walls.
Looks good.
And then what else? Okay, this is Hilltop. Hilltop, we have gone through and removed that long retaining wall on the side of the building to help with erosion and water drainage and all of that. The front of the building, we're getting a new pavement and new sidewalks all around the building. Not every single sidewalk, but all the ones that are damaged that have water and cracks and all of that. So those are getting replaced. The dumpster wall's also getting replaced. I don't think I have a picture of that because that's not very pretty, but it's cracked and it's getting replaced. The inside of the building is also getting new cabling, new ceiling, and we're at the point where we're putting ceiling tiles back in. And we're also hanging the TVs on the walls. So those have been hung on the wall. We will go back and patch behind the TVs because we had to pull the cork board off the tack boards, and then we'll go back and patch that. Okay, now we go back to the other.
Yes, Rich has a question real quick.
Anything that would keep it from being ready for opening day?
Right now, no.
Okay.
But we do have some certain scopes that will be done after opening dates. For example, like the storefront replacement. We've got some storefront doors that aren't very secure. They are secure, but they need replacement with time. That it has aging hardware and a bunch of little holes, so we're getting those replaced. Those won't be done at the opening of school, but as far as having class, we'll be able to move in.
I want to take just a minute because I'm not sure we've introduced Rolla to the community, so I was going to take just a moment to introduce her. Rolla's with us. She's a consultant with us. So, Ms. Stewart, do you mind giving just a little bit about her?
Sure. We, with the number of projects that we have going right now with all of our construction and how much was going to happen this summer, we have one construction employee in Jeff, and we realized that we had too much occurring all simultaneously for one person. So we brought on Rolla Fidel, Syncera is her company, and she's been working with us since March, April timeframe, I believe. She is handling a lot of our 25 bond projects right now, all of the capital improvements as project manager on that. She's working on our upcoming middle school project, our upcoming elementary school project, and reviewing those areas. Am I missing some projects?
Yes, the new baseball softball.
Yes, Thank you. The new baseball softball,
And
also the
connector
renovations
hallway.
on the baseball softball at the current 377 facility.
And the
So
connector.
she's got a lot of our projects going right now. It's a great balance. It was just too much for one person. So Rolla, this is probably your third meeting, maybe your fourth meeting that you presented at. So she's been a great addition. Specifically this summer. It's been a lot. So just as you go through and hear each one of them talk about all their projects that are going, the amount of facilities that we have to get back into, because kids are coming first day of school. But what happens before that is our staff comes in. So August 3rd, all teachers are back. In a few days, I believe, our office staff come back to the campuses. So the schedules are tight. They've got a lot going on. They constantly work together every day and are working hard to get all of these ready to go.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure we had taken an opportunity to introduce you or reintroduce you to the community. I wasn't quite sure if we had done that yet or not, so thank you, President Arthur, for reminding us. But yes, Rolla's with us. I've had the opportunity and pleasure of working with Rolla several years ago in previous districts, and so I know that she is doing a great job for us. She is doing as I would have expected her to do, so thank you.
Thank you.
So all these pictures I took with my phone, so they're the one on the left. It would be nice if I would have borrowed Greg and had him let me use his drone, and he could have taken a lot better picture of the stadium. But the stadium turf at 377 is complete. The track is complete. So now all we're waiting on is the indoor facility from Field Turf. I talked with their contractor today, and he said he should be done by the end of the week with the indoor. So all of Field Turf, their construction will be complete. This right here on the left is a picture of the batting cage. Paragon is doing both the baseball and the softball turf, and the baseball is complete. The softball, you can see there, is still gravel. They're starting on that. They started on it today, so they should be, he said it takes about 10 days for them to fully finish that. So in about 10 days, we'll probably be done with all of the turf and the track construction projects. This Wednesday, we start the basketball gym floors. So we're having a contractor to come in and sand all that paint off and repaint it with our new logos, and we're excited to see what that's going to look like. We've got a really good design, but when it's all finished, it'll look good. So see if there's some painting in the schools that you don't have any painting. Okay. All the painting is pretty much done as far as inside the school. We're going to come back next summer and we've been talking a little bit about what we're gonna do. We may leave the bottom half gray and the top half white, or we may add a block of red. We're trying to see what we want to do, but it looks very clean right now. So we're excited about the kids coming into a nice clean building. So that'll be good.
I'd say the turf and the track look beautiful.
They do.
Good.
Beautiful.
It's gonna all be very nice when we're done and out of there. They got a lot of cleanup to do.
That's their stadium.
A lot of cleanup right now.
Very nice.
Next project is the connector hallway at Canyon Falls. That project, right now, we are complete with design. We bid it out, and we're working with Poe Construction on the GMP. We've been going back and forth, so we were hoping to get it to you at this board meeting, but we didn't make that. Right now, we have it scheduled for next month.
It'll actually be the 27th, the 24th, because that August meeting bumped to the 24th, so
Okay.
we'll make that
All
adjustment.
right, so it'll go for the August 24th meeting. And then the projected start date is still the fall, and completion is still fall 2027. The new middle school, we've been working with Pfluger Architects, and BTC has been in participation for all the meetings. We completed schematic design, and right now, we are started schematic design. We completed pre-design. And we've come up with a site plan layout for the building, and we're going through right now and looking at the different sections, what we have on the first floor, second floor, fine arts, the gym, and the educational spaces. We're going through and kind of finalizing that, and we will be bringing that. We did schedule a time frame, but right now it's not coming to me. But we will be bringing that to present for you guys. But all is going well, and we're still on schedule to open for fall 2029. Elementary school number 5, which is Mary Jane Tate Elementary. We have not done anything at this point. It is still on the schedule, but we're concentrating on the middle school, and then once we get that one rolling, then we'll move forward for the elementary.
And update on our parking lot, transportation parking lot here at Canyon Falls. We are tentatively set to go to Flower Mound P&Z on August 10th right now with the site plan. So essentially it is just a site plan project. So once they approve that at P&Z, or make a recommendation, I should say, it goes to council for approval, and then it should be permitted very quickly thereafter, because essentially we've done all the construction documents just under the site plan approval process. So that project should start sometime this fall, and I don't expect it will take very long, 6 months or less, to complete that project.
Okay, new baseball softball complex at Canyon Falls. Right now, we're working with PBK on the construction documents. We're 50% in CDs, and we should be getting an estimate from Pogue in the next couple of weeks, hopefully by the end of the month, to see where we're at on budget and kind of track that project and see where we're at. And other than that, we are tracking to be complete in design in October, so we will be bringing that to the board.
Okay. Any questions on those projects? They have been incredibly busy. I mean, it's just amazing what's been accomplished since school let out. So just want to thank the team in general. I mean, all of you have so many pieces of that, but thank you. And Rolly, you're not even here every day, so.
Okay, I've got a short presentation for you tonight on our traffic plans at Gibson Middle School. So we'll start with the planned parent drop-off and pickup line. And we'll see the bus in a minute, but we're trying to keep them entering separately. So the buses are entering at the west drive, and the parents entering at the east drive, which is also where the traffic light will be. And so they come in through this path, and they work their way around to the back of the building where we have drop-off at basically the back door that gets you into the main hallway. So it takes you right into the cafeteria, which is maybe where they're gonna, go in and wait for school to start, or they're there early to get a breakfast. And then on the exit, and I only showed it separately just because you get too many arrows going on one drawing and it gets very confusing. So that's why I separated these two. But they will then loop north through the parking lot in the back, heading out toward the front, and then we've got the option to go left or right, kind of thinking if you're going to head east, you're going to go to your left to use the light to make that turn, or if you're going to go back, say, to Harvest, you go west and make a right turn out of there.
And coming in, they're double stacking, right?
Coming in is planned for single stack.
Singles, okay.
We should have enough length
Okay.
that if everybody came at the same time, which I understand at middle school they really don't,
Right.
I should be able to stack them all up and
Okay.
still not get out on 407. And that's
Okay.
the reason we made the back,
Okay.
the drop off, was to give them that extra length.
And where's the lane on 407 itself? Is that what I see at the bottom there, or does it extend further where we're having to build that decel lane?
In this picture, at the East Drive, the decel lane is in. It's not real easy to see. It basically starts almost at the beginning of Cactus Canyon driveway and then goes up to ours. And then you can see on the west where we created the decel lane, it's in brown in this picture, but if you see that brown looking, red looking area just north of the road, that's the decel lane for that west entrance. For anybody like buses going in that west drive.
These are two pictures next to one another.
Well, yeah, what you see in the vibrant color, if you will, that's a drone deploy
Okay.
aerial photo that Pogue does, and then it's superimposed on like a Google Earth, or
Okay.
I don't actually know what they use for the background. So that's why you kind of see a little bit of different. You can see a little bit of the Cactus Canyon parking lot on theirs, but then it turns into trees.
Right.
That's why you see it that way.
Okay.
But it's the best tool that I have available to get a nice updated, aerial shot of the site. So that's why we've used it. And then switching to the bus drop off. So we've got them coming in the Western Drive, and then they loop in around the front. And there's stacking along the front there. I think about 11 buses end to end fit in that space, which I think is roughly the number we estimated we would need at this site, and they'll all go in the opposite end of that main corridor in the front doors. And again, they can walk straight down the hallway to the cafeteria or wherever they need to go. And then as the buses exit, kind of the same strategy as with the parents is, depending on what the bus is, doing next, if it's got another route, it's going back to the bus barn, there's a left or right option there to exit.
And they should be up and out before the parents get to leave, assumedly.
Yes, I don't know all the bus
Right.
drop-off
Usually
times in
first.
particular, and when students arrive early for football in the fall, and all the variables that go along with it. That's why we feel like the single stacking is more than enough, because we don't have the mass arrival like you would in an elementary school.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And we could not double stack to just tack on there, because if people are coming out, people are going in, we had to leave some way for emergency services to be able to get into the site. So ideally, it'd be a full 24 feet, but it's impractical to create 4-lane wide drives on schools. And so it's kind of a compromise where there is a full 12-foot lane passable into the site, and that's why we single stacked.
Okay. Thank you.
Will you be passing this out to parents sooner than later, just so they can kind of start wrapping their heads around it?
I assume it's going to go out probably through school communication. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Miss
Parent
Wheeler,
Square, School Messenger,
communications
whatever we
board,
use,
yeah.
I don't know, and probably
Yeah,
you
they're
have
making, I think they're
channels.
making a video and everything.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yes, to try to help with the first day, the first week, the first 2 weeks, it's going to be challenging, but I think it will, once we get past that initial period, it'll be pretty good. Any other questions?
Jeff, is there going to be signage up on the way out to prevent people from going the other direction that we don't want them to go? For example, like the west exit, turning
Yes,
east and going
I
toward
hope so.
337, right?
I've talked to Mr. Ledford about some kind of signage,
Yeah.
at least temporary to start, like where people can make that left or right choice to indicate, hey, if you want to go east, go left. If you want to go west, go right, because you're not going to go the other way if you go the wrong way.
Right.
And that may turn into some more permanent signage, maybe something like you see here, where we have like the post and panel signs, guiding people on campus here where the different facilities are. It may turn into something like that at some point
Okay.
to help manage that.
Yeah, I think the flow in general makes sense. I mean, like the timing of the buses and cars at the same time could be an issue. Maybe another question we look at later, just timing of that. But I think that signage may help because best intentions, right? I mean,
Oh, yes.
people will get there and they'll start turning any way they want to go
Oh,
potentially.
yes. Yeah.
So I
And
think signage
ideally,
might help.
we don't mix buses and cars, but I know there
Sure.
is some interaction currently at the middle school, the way they operate. I've watched it on, the cameras multiple times, and it seems to function without any real issues there. And so we're, confident that it's going to work that way here
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
The timing is probably enough different that there won't be a whole lot of that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I forgot to add this on the Gibson report, but this is also a good place to put it, is we do have a school zone that has been established by the town. TxDOT is furnishing, installing, operating the signals and signage. It is not yet up, but I did follow up with them today, and they assure me it's going to be up before school starts. So we haven't ever talked about that, but we actually did create a school zone. I think it drops the speed to 35, if I remember correct. It's a little bit higher speed because you're not in a neighborhood, you're on a, FM road, so.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all
I think
for
that's it.
construction? Okay,
Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
thank you,
All
Jeff.
right, for superintendent report,
Yeah.
just got a few things. It's been, kind of quiet as far as student activities the last month, so we'll just jump into some district updates. So we do have our new teachers. I know we talked about staff returning August 3rd. Well, we have our new staff to the district coming July 30th. So that will be here very, very soon. We will have 2 days of new teacher academy. We have reduced it from 3 days based on feedback in the last 3 years from our new teacher attendees. And so we've taken that feedback and adjusted a few things. And so we'll be doing a 2-day new teacher academy. Then we have our back to school bash, formerly known as Eagle Bash, August 1st, which is Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the high school. So we expect to have a great turnout and hope to have everyone out there that can come be a part of the back to school bash. We have all of our staff coming that Monday, August 3rd. We will have convocation August 4th. Very excited to be bringing back our very own Command Sergeant Major Gretchen Evans. And so she's going to be joining us at convocation with a special message, and we're very excited about that. We also have that same week, Coach Cody Vanderford's Celebration of Life will be August 8th at 10 a.m. That's a Saturday at First United Methodist in Denton. We recently had an unexpected passing of Coach Vanderford back on June 29th from a medical emergency. He was a very dedicated staff member to Argyle ISD, a passionate coach. He was known for growing and developing all of our elite golfers and building a golf legacy here in the district over the past several years. He was an impact over South. He was our PE teacher, and our kids loved him over there. And I know that they really enjoyed having Coach Vanderford every day. He always had a positive, engaging PE class and worked so well with our elementary PE teachers. So he truly was an inspirational team member as far as adults, but he also was for our students. And just wanted to share while coaching the boys golf team at Argyle, he brought home state titles in 21 and 22. And so we're going to greatly miss Coach Vanderford, and we will just continue to remember him, praying for his family, and honoring his legacy for many, many years to come. So we will be taking part of that celebration of life, which will be August 8th at 10 a.m. First day of school is August 11th. Which is a Tuesday, and then we will have the opening night of the new stadium Friday, August 28th. We will have a kickoff at 7 p.m. and I know Mr. Herron and Coach Rogers and everyone else involved is gearing up for a big celebration that night. And then we will cap off end of August, right there at the first part of September, with a dedication and ribbon cutting for Scott Gibson Middle School, September 2nd, and that is a Wednesday at 5:30. So lots of activities coming up in the next few weeks to kick off a brand new school year for the district. So.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, first, I would just like to offer my condolences to Coach Vanderford's friends and family. I had the honor of getting to watch him teach PE, which is a totally different element for a lot of the coaches. Having about 40 pre-Kers in a gym is pretty exciting. So he was a wonderful man.
He was, and just made me think. I had the opportunity to go down to the state golf tournament this season back in May, and walked that entire course. And Coach Vanderford was with our golfers every hole, and you don't see that very often. In fact, you don't really see golf coaches anywhere near their athletes. But our kids relied on him, and he mentored in such a way that they wanted him with them at every hole. And so he was literally with them at every hole the entire day, and I just thought that really stood out to me.
He will be missed. I did want to clarify from my last president report, which was my first president report. I'm already getting to clarify things. So we discussed the location of middle school 2. And I gave just some of the reasons that went into the Harpole site and why that was chosen. And I stated that the impact of the enrollment from First Ranch wouldn't be realized in 2029, that First Ranch would still be under construction, and the impact of all of those students wouldn't be realized at that point. But it was later represented on social media that I had said that the land wouldn't be ready. The land will be ready. It's more looking at the impact and where the students are coming from for that specific middle school.
Right. The development itself.
Yes. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then now we attended as an entire board and Dr. Carpenter. We were all at Tassa Tasby's Summer Leadership Institute in June. Matthew Slayton, Dr. Carpenter, and I gave a session on teacher retention. It was very well received. I will just tell everyone here that we got applause, which if you've ever been to school board training, that doesn't happen. So
Lots
I think
of follow-up emails
lots
too.
of follow-ups, and I think it was really the intentionality behind not just sharing why we do things the way we do them, but how to actually implement the reasons behind it. So I think Dr. Carpenter did a great job of showing them how questions from the board on teacher retention led to the development of a really great piece of information for board members. So I was very impressed, and I'll give you another round of applause for that. As for the entire trustees that were there, we were able to hear from Representative Cassandra Garcia Hernandez from District 115 and Representative David Spiller from District 68. Both of them are very strong advocates for public education. They spoke on what they have heard from their specific districts. David Spiller has a lot of rural communities, and Representative Hernandez represents more of like the Carrollton area, so different demographics, but still wanting funding. They did let us know that the most pressing matter that they're hearing as representatives right now is data centers. So that is probably going to take precedence for any kind of legislative action. So I just want everyone to be aware that advocacy on behalf of your public schools is going to be more important this year than even the last session, just so that what we need and what we're asking for reaches the ears of our representatives. I would like to take this time to open it up, since everyone was able to attend. Our new trustees, Mr. Ford and Mr. Dixon, got to spend many, many hours separate from everyone in new trustee training. And so if y'all would like to share, we'll start over here if everyone would just like to share their experience.
Sure. Yeah, as far as the new trustee training for us, it was 2.5 days roughly.
Yes.
They were full days, put it that way. There's a lot there. I'll say one big takeaway I had really was kind of coming back to the onboarding that we received coming into the board here. I felt like there's a lot of stuff that we learned talking to existing board members and others. A lot of that was covered internal here. So when I got to these sessions, a lot of it seemed like repeat. I was like, oh, I know that. I've heard that before. It was really helpful mostly saying there's a good onboarding process here for new board members. but and a lot of it's covered there too. So I just thought that was really, really good. Kind of connect the dots to hear it for a second time. You know,
Sure.
you can hear that stuff multiple times, and it takes a while to sink in sometimes. So it was really good. It was a good session.
Well, I'll just pipe in that these types of events, I think, are always great when you have an opportunity to talk to other board members from across the state and find out, you know, what trials, tribulations, things that are affecting their district, and how they're, you know, acting and trying to be proactive and trying to meet some of those demands. So, unfortunately, I missed a handful of presentations, but did have the opportunity to speak with a lot of folks.
You were in the best one.
I was in the only one that mattered.
The only one.
The one that got an applause.
The one that got applause. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. McDade?
I attended as well. I love Summer Leadership Institute. I'm just going to say that. I think TASB does a great job in helping us out. If you got to go for training, it's the place to go. I'm just telling you. In my 9 years on the board, I have gone every year, and I've exceeded my hours because I just love to learn. So just saying that for that. And TASB does a great job. And I also want to thank Dr. Carpenter for always putting that budget money in there too, because some of this stuff isn't cheap to attend a conference. A lot of you that, if you go, you know that I don't understand how they charge it, but they do. And I do appreciate that because it gives us the opportunity to kind of grow and learn there. I attended a number of sessions. I'm not going to go through all of them by any means. I will say that I did attend one on recruitment and retention, and they talked about the residency program. And that one was Carrollton Farmers Branch, and I know we're implementing ours this year. It was very nice to see another district talk about their program, and I think they're like 5 or 6 years into theirs. Learned about grant programs and different things, and they talked about 100% retention the first year. Everybody stayed. 97% were still there at their chosen scale year, which I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4 years that they took the data. 100% of the principals were satisfied with the program, loved it. They felt that from feedback from the residents, from the teachers, the budding teachers, that they had improved teacher readiness. And next year, because they incorporate their program in with high school credits, where they can take some college level credits, some dual credits, if they want to become teachers. 65% of their resident group for next year are former CFB ISD students. So they're turning around and they want to be teachers in their own district.
Awesome.
And then quickly, I did a couple of sessions on, governance and things like that. So, and improving governance and, what that means, how to, strengthen it and everything else. But it was a great conference, enjoyed it tremendously, met a lot of people, so.
Yeah, I'll echo, appreciate the district supporting us to get better education on that aspect of it and deal with the trials and tribulations that we deal with as a board and the school districts deal with. I did have an opportunity to set in on y'all's wonderful presentation. I was not able to heckle as much as I was anticipating, but it was great. And I think one of the things I always take a step back from those conference is there's different levels to this, but we're all fighting the same battle. There's not enough money for the teachers. There's not enough programs. There's not enough support for SPED. I mean, it continues to go down. And what I leave there prideful of is there's people that are trying to fight this fight for public education. And I think we just continue to do that. And maybe one of these days they'll hear our words and hear our prayers and fund it properly and go from there. But it was a great conference.
Thank you.
I'll just close out that Mr. Ford and I did not get any applause for
Not a single one.
not one. But it was to his point, it was great to hear a lot of the information from Mr. and Mr. Slayton and Dr. Carpenter and her team when we had our orientation here. So that was great to kind of be able to hear that again in a different setting. I think one of the most valuable pieces is to realize like we're not just fighting a fight for the kids here in our district, but the 5.5 million kids across the state. I think that's important. And then to Mr. Slayton's point, you hear about what's going on in other districts across the state, and it really makes you appreciate what we have here. So perspective is always a great thing.
Thank you.
Good view.
Thank you.
Applause for you.
Applause
give
for
him
you.
a
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're moving on to information only. And the first one is a budget amendment.
That will be Ms. Stewart.
Okay, like she said, this is information only. Typically, we like to bring you information one month and it to be pretty much the same when we bring it back to you for action the next month. I can tell you I will anticipate some changes on this one. As we finalize our year end, we have some calculations that we're still working on for end of year. As we talked about our staff coming back to work, pay cycles for us for the most part start in September. However, most people are here and work a full month, so we have to accrue those new salaries that y'all approved in June. And so we're still working on those calculations and how they impact every individual account and function. So you'll see a little bit of changes on the expenditure side and potentially a little bit more on the revenue. But for right now, what we can bring to you are we've looked at our property taxes, and I think I mentioned this on Budget Amendment 4 that we felt like we might have to bring those down a little bit. So we are bringing those down. We still have interest income coming in higher, bringing that up about $250. Our foundation school program, we went through all 6 weeks and through our summer PEAM submission with our attendance and special populations and figured our final state funding there. On the expenditures right now, the one we have in here is for intergovernmental. This is for our appraisal district charges and looking at each quarter. On our last quarter, we feel like we're going to go over what we had anticipated, about $24,000. So this will cover us through year end. All in all, this still leaves the general fund in a surplus budget. We do anticipate ending in that, but again, I do apologize. This one will change a little bit, and we will try and get that to you as quickly as possible before next meeting so that you can see any changes that we have from this and ask any questions before then. So, any questions at this time, though?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And update 127.
That is me.
Yes.
For Dr. Daniel this evening. So, yes, so it is update 127. Normally, the update's very, very large after legislative session, and obviously last year was a big legislative session. We didn't even get our first update 126 until almost December because they were sending them out in waves and in districts. So this is really the second half, or not the second half, the second portion of the legislative session to make some updates to get everything in legal and local up to date. I'm just going to go over through a few highlights because most of the legal is the legal, it's the law. There's nothing we can change about that. But BJCF, that is a local policy, and so that's about superintendent non-renewal. What that's doing is it's adding some language that basically says a superintendent cannot. One of the ways to terminate or reasons to terminate a superintendent is if they have, engaged someone in the DEI activities or other activities that are prohibited by law. So that's just new language in there based on to match up with different things from Senate Bill 12. There is also the other one I wanted to point out. So DH has been Employee Standards of Conduct. DH is going away. It's going to be DHA. And what DHA is doing is it is basically taking a focus on the two employee standards, 3.8 and 3.9, the Code of Ethics. So it's taking basically now the form that's going to be the form of basis for reporting requirements and educator misconduct. So even though that was updated throughout, it's already been in practice, it's now aligning policy with that practice. As far as that goes. So DH will be going away, DHA will be the new employee standards, and it will include 3.8 and 3.9 for that portion. The other thing that's going to be deleted is DP, which is personnel positions. It's being broken into two pieces, DPA, DPA, and DPB local, and that is for the qualifications to be a principal and the qualifications to be a counselor. So they're just breaking those into two different components. And then I believe FFF, student welfare and student safety, that one was updated already this past year. The policy itself was. All that this had done in it is to, the way the language is written, is it's giving for the misconduct being defined as alleged abuse, involvement or soliciting romantic relationship, engaging in inappropriate communications with a student or failure to maintain appropriate boundaries. So that's all that language is now being put in there. And then we also have FFF regulations we've written to go along with this, because this is the one that requires the district shall notify a parent of a student with whom the district employee or a person acting as a service provider has engaged in that misconduct. So this has everything outlined in FFF, and so we now have admin regs to go with it, but that is the local language that comes from that law. I believe that's probably the bulk of this one. So I can answer questions, and then this will come back to you in August for approval. The legal's already obviously in place, but the local will be approved.
And this will be something we'll be training the whole staff and all.
Yes, so there's several components, because you've got, it gets a little confusing sometimes because your mandatory reporting is one piece, that's FFG, or FNG, excuse me. FFF is the requirement to notify parents if there's educator misconduct, and then there's the Senate Bill 571 portion, which is the responsibility of the superintendent to report to TEA and SBEC if an employee has engaged in employee misconduct. So there's 3 different levels, all tied to different laws and different education code and the family code. So we have a standardized district training that covers Title IX, child abuse reporting, mandatory reporting, and Senate Bill 571, all enclosed with one. We will be training principals and admin teams on admin regs for FFF, which is notice to notify parents. That'll be happening at our leadership retreat. So all those parts are coming together and being packaged at this time. But yes, we'll have all of those going and working with making sure staff has access. And then also staff will also receive the Senate Bill 12 resolution the board adopted last August, which we have to do. You will actually be certifying the compliance of that at the August board meeting for the 26-27 school year.
Maybe I should know this. Is this something that every staff member will have signed off on and that they got the training and know what the rules are?
Yes. So in a couple different things. On Senate Bill 12, it goes through Frontline because that's the law required. So they have to actually sign off stating that they do not want a paper copy, and they get that through Frontline.
Okay.
And then our contractors and independent contracts, it's all on our POs, so that everybody gets that
So there's
language.
not going to be, I didn't know, or...
There shouldn't be. We've got everybody covered. And then the training itself that we do, we have a video version, and then we have a principal's slide deck version that they'll hit all the components that have gold stars on them. They will sign off, and that will be documented in Eduphoria. So if someone falls through the cracks, then that'll be on somebody that didn't get them signed in or trained. So we should have, and each year we decided that when there's a legislative session, we will have our attorneys come out and do the update. But when it's a non-legislative session, we'll just do the update because there's no change in it. So we can handle doing the refresher course.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Not a question, but I do want to thank you for being very responsive to the questions that I sent in and for providing the clarification language.
Absolutely. No, and it was a good question because they all kind of run together, and so we need to make sure we're clear that mandatory reporting is not the same thing as notifying a parent, because the timelines are different on all of them. You know, mandatory reporting is 24 hours. Notifying the parent is as feasible as quickly as possible. You know, notifying SBEC and TEA is 48 hours. So everyone has a different timeline. Each law does. So they all kind of run together. So we have to be very clear in understanding which responsibility.
Great.
Well, thank you for being on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Welcome.
and the extra work.
That's
that went
okay.
in
It's okay.
To making it. All right, so we're to discussion and action items. And the first one is 11A, consider and approve student nutrition prices for 2026-2027.
Okay, these are the same process that we brought to you last month. Just as a reminder that we are required to use the paid lunch equity tool that does the calculation for us and mandates the campuses, which are elementary ones, on the program, and it also gives recommendations for the secondary ones. So these are 10-cent increases at breakfast, 15-cent at lunch at elementary, same thing at 6th grade center and high school and middle schools, and then a 5-cent increase on the market, which is our made-to-order deli at the high school. So.
And
Any
we're still self-sustaining.
They are self-sustaining. Yes, ma'am.
Self-sustaining, which is great.
And if you'll remember, I believe it was Budget Amendment 4, they were able to use some of their fund balance to purchase some replacement equipment, so they are very well self-sustaining.
Yeah. You're doing a great job.
They do. They run a tight ship there in the student nutrition. They do a great job.
I will entertain a motion to approve action item 11A as presented.
Motion to approve action item 11A as presented.
Matthew Slayton with the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rich McDowell with the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving along to 11B, consider and approve purchases above $100,000.
Okay, again, this was brought to you as information last month. There's been no changes. This one, if you'll go to the second page, this is on additional GMS FF&E. It took us up an additional $280,000 on a maximum not to exceed. Requested, including in this request, it puts us at $4.4 million total budget on FF&E out of $7.3 million available from those funds. So.
I will entertain a motion to approve action item 11B as presented.
Motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Dixon with the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh,
Rich got it.
I'll give it to Rich McDowell. Mr. McDowell with the second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And 11C, consider and approve construction audit RFQ.
Okay, so I think we've talked about this quite a bit over the last few months. So we went through the RFQ process. We felt like there was a need to, since we have a large dollar amounts running through our construction funds, and that as things are progressing in projects, we felt that it would be good to go through an actual audit of one of those construction projects. So we did the RFQ process, which is a request for qualifications, which that, just as a reminder, those aren't done on price, those are done on qualifications. Price can be a factor, but not a determining factor. So we put that out. We had 5 firms submit. We had a committee that went through and ranked and evaluated all based on different criteria. And R.L. Townsend and Associates was ranked the highest. They are the firm that we will recommend. We're going to recommend that you approve them as the construction auditor, and then any project that we want to have audited, we will bring you an individual engagement letter. So we do plan to bring you an engagement letter for the August meeting. Just so you know, we did talk about this in our construction subcommittee, the fact that we've gone through this process and that we would be recommending. We'd kind of talked a little bit about whether we would bring the individual engagement letter to the board or not, and I feel like after that discussion we need to bring any individual engagement letter to the board level, so that will be on our August 24th agenda. And our first project that we will look at is our Gibson Middle School, because as it gets to completion and it's wrapping up, that's the time that we want to bring in an audit for that project. So do y'all have questions on this? I know it's this is kind of new for us. This is the first time we've gone through this process, getting an auditor for this.
Did they indicate about how long an audit would take on, for instance, the Gibson Middle School?
They did, and it'll be based on what we actually put in the engagement letter, but just on an average, it could be anywhere from about 2 months, could be 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something along those lines. So. But it will be determined by the engagement letter.
Okay, thank you.
Is it normal practice to do these only at the end or towards the end of a project, or is there hey, we should do it part like 50% through, see are we tracking okay, and do another one at the end?
So what we found is that districts do it different ways. You can do it just at the end before you wrap up. You could bring on a firm and you say, hey, we want to partner with you through this whole thing. You're in from the beginning, from contracts, and you're reviewing every single pay app. And of course, the more work that they're doing, of course, the more costly it gets, right? So it's what you want out of the product. So when we went through and we looked at what different districts had done, what actually the outcome was, we felt like for the first project it would be at the end of the project, specifically because of where we were at time-wise too, since we were wrapping up Gibson. But you can do it either way.
Okay.
Does this money come from bond money, or is this?
It would be from the bond fund, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve action item 11C as presented.
Motion to approve action item 11C as presented.
Mr. Slayton with the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Dixon with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will now.
Thank you.
No, you're good, and
Yep,
it'll
this
be
one.
this one.
Yep.
There you go.
The time is 7:24. We will return to executive session to discuss 55174 personnel matters and public officers. We will return hopefully with action and to adjourn the meeting. The time is 8:01. We have returned from executive session. At this time, I will open the floor for discussion on action item 7A. As a recap, we had a resignation of Trustee Westrom earlier this year in May. We had the opportunity to fill the vacancy with an election in November, a special election, or an appointment with an election following in May. In order to avoid the cost of a special election in November, we chose to look at either filling the vacancy or leaving it open for the remainder of this year and opening the election in May with our other regular election that will be occurring. This opportunity has given us a chance to meet many local community members that showed interest and ability. We also had some former board members reach out with a desire to fill the spot. We've had a lot of healthy discussion, a lot of deliberation. We had many people who had strong qualities, good interest, great interviews. I'll open it up to anyone who wants to say anything further, and then we can move forward from there.
I'll just go ahead and jump in and say that from the individuals we had an opportunity to speak with, I think that the district will be in great hands going forward if any of these individuals decide to run in future elections. Again, there were a lot of great conversations. It was a great opportunity to get to know people a little bit better. And so I think Argyle's in a good spot. The one thing, the caveat to that, that I'll go ahead and mention is I'm hesitant to appoint an individual to an elected position. So from my perspective, it's just I would prefer not to do that. But that doesn't take anything away from the individuals we spoke with, and again, the district is in a great spot if any or all of those individuals decide to run in the future.
I really appreciate our process. I appreciate us looking into the cost of the elections. Obviously none of us wanted to be in this position to have to kind of be in a position to appoint or not. And I think to Matt's point, there is some incredible community members that love our district. It makes you proud for the district that we have. And, like Matt, I would say, running for the election is going to be something that's going to be enjoyable for a lot of amazing candidates out there.
I did appreciate that the community members came from different areas of the district. It wasn't all centralized anywhere, and just a lot of new faces and people that had different connections to the district. I thought it was good to meet them and see what the future of Argyle ISD could be.
I'll just note for the community too that we spent a lot of time deliberating on this for sure. I mean, if anyone who's tracking the amount of hours we're in closed session talking about these things and back and forth and reviewing applications and talking to people, it wasn't a, hey, we made this decision in 20 minutes, whatever decision we decide to do, right? But we spent some good time on this.
And I was also going to say, sometimes I agree with what you guys are saying. Sometimes you have to go through a process to get to an ending. And even though you don't think you do, but you do, and then you see things in a different perspective. And you start to see the pros and cons of doing that. And I agree about not appointing someone to an elected position. It's a very, very important decision, and I really feel like, the people that are sitting up here, well, I shouldn't say I feel like, all have been elected. Every one of us has been elected, and by the community, and that's who we serve. And so to put someone on there without going through that whole process and, not necessarily having to go through that whole election piece, I believe that I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. there's a seriousness, there's a responsibility that we hold as board members that you don't take it lightly. And I'm not saying that any of the people that we interviewed wouldn't come on board and do a good job, but it is that whole idea of appointing someone to an elected position. So I agree.
I will entertain a motion if anyone has something that they would like to so move.
I'll make a motion. I move that we welcome Sam Slayton back onto the Board of Trustees for Argyle ISD.
Dr. McDay made a motion to appoint Sam Slayton to fill the vacancy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rich McDowell had a second. Any discussion?
Just to be clear for everyone, Sam did express interest in this, correct? And there will be election coming in May of 27 anyway for the same position, and for May of 28, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, there will be a general election in May to fill the unexpired term, which would be May of 28, correct?
Right.
Yes.
So
Okay.
he would be serving through the general election in May.
Okay. I'll just say
Yes.
personally, I have no issue with Sam. I think he's been great, and he and Craig also, when they were here, if they decided to run again, I probably wouldn't have run in the first place. I thought they were doing a great job. So I'll be very public about that. I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah. And Sam's got great experience, obviously, served on the board for 9 years, and it'd be a real easy transition to have, the group whole again, if you will, at 7 people with him on board. So we got a lot of important stuff coming up.
I was going to say, with all the things that have been in planning since Dr. Carpenter arrived in 23, having that continuity will be helpful as we keep transitioning to the next phase of the district. So
I agree. I think the continuity that Sam will bring back, along with the fact that he's already got all the mandatory training requirements done, so that's
Yes.
one less thing that he has to worry about, and just the seamless transition back into the role.
That's right.
Okay. All in favor for appointing Sam Slayton to the vacancy for place 7 on the Argyle ISD Board of Trustees, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We adjourn this meeting at 8:09.